Despite being called a wife beater by the Sun newspaper in the UK and losing a libel case in 2020, the internet has still largely supported Johnny Depp, even before the verdict of the Amber Heard trial. So why is it that he had so much support? Let's look into it. The case was streamed on YouTube, and the stream received hundreds of thousands of views, and the verdict of the case received at least 1 million. During the actual trial, which seems unreal and like a sitcom at this point, there were a series of funny and ridiculous exchanges that went on. Like when Amber Heard's lawyer accuses Johnny Depp of drinking heavily, Johnny Depp replies and he says, "Were you there?" Well, this is only the beginning of the shenanigans. Every time Johnny Depp tries to talk, he's hit with objection or hearsay before he can even finish his sentence. There's actually a compilation of his comebacks and his witty retorts on YouTube. And at one point, the lawyer is like, "Okay, we're going to fast forward in time." And Johnny Depp says, "I can feel it." At one point, he's interrupted before he can finish answering a question, and he's asked another question. So then he's like, "Okay, so you want me to answer this question so they can object to that as well?" He's being witty and charming, like the characters that we know him for. Depp has had a lot of success with the characters that he's played over the years, notably Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean series, for example. He's been named the most attractive man twice, and his career came to an abrupt halt, or was basically destroyed, when Amber Heard published a piece on the Washington Post in which she says she spoke out against sexual abuse and faced the wrath of American culture. She became an icon, the ambassador for women's rights at the American Civil Liberties Union, arguably the face of the Me Too movement at some point. Johnny Depp was cut off from roles because of that article. It was clear that she was referring to him, the man she had been married to, as the abuser. But despite all of that happening, he still had a lot of public support during this recent court case. The thing is, people get attached to celebrities and see them as a representation of the characters that they love. And Johnny Depp has had a long and varied career, says Seth Lewis, director of the journalism program at the University of Oregon. He says that the characters Depp plays evoke our sympathy. It's hard to overcome that built-in association and what that means for how we see that person. It doesn't help that Johnny Depp's own mother was abusive. If you studied family psychology and family therapy, then you know that patterns are said to repeat, intergenerational patterns. Marriage and family therapists study this. So if your grandmother got divorced and your mother got divorced, the chances of your sister getting divorced might be slightly higher than someone else. It's because they grew up in that environment that they're more likely to carry on that pattern. So now, someone who's been abused before is likely to get abused again. As for the public support, you have to understand that a lot of people are superficial and they're selfish. Tech journalist Ryan Broderick summarizes and says that a lot of boring people think that Johnny Depp is very cool because of his popularity. And then DC fans think that DC movies are getting delayed because of the issues that Amber Heard has with Johnny Depp. Harry Potter fans are upset that Johnny Depp was removed from the Fantastic Beasts series because of the abuse allegations. Some people literally want to see these movies, and they want to see Johnny Depp in these movies, and they're upset at Amber Heard for those movies not coming out. What are the results of all this, and what does it mean? Depp probably isn't getting these roles back, except for the Pirates of the Caribbean role. Apparently, just today, he was offered that role once again. But I'm sure he said that he wouldn't take the role even if he was paid like $300 million and like 1 million alpacas or something. But there's no doubt that his career will never be the same. Understood, she actually abused him. She even threw a bottle of vodka and cut off the tip of his finger. And there's evidence that it was actually cut off from interviews that he's had. Even when he visited a hospital, a kid was asking him what happened to his finger. And he was trying to play it off and say, I got hungry and I bit off the tip of my finger. There's also leaked audio of her hitting him and saying, "I'm not punching you, I'm hitting you," or something ridiculous, and calling him a baby. But there's no evidence that he abused her. He ended up losing about $22.5 million because of that lost Jack Sparrow role, but he ended up getting $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages. Pretty sure it was a unanimous victory from all the judges voted in favor of him, but I think Amber ended up getting some money anyway. And let's not forget that she pooped in their bed, and then she tried to blame it on the dogs. She pooped on his side of the bed and said it was the dog, and now people are calling her Amber Turd because of that. You kind of had that coming. And then there's a video clip of her pretending to write notes on her paper. She's moving her pen side to side, moving it along, pretending that she's looking at her paper, focusing and writing, but her pen isn't even touching the paper. you've got to be bold, you've got to be brazen, have no regard for anything if you're going to do something. Like, that just kind of goes to show what kind of character somebody has. They're going to blatantly lie and act as if they're doing something that they're not. So it seems like she was lying, but we have to understand that a lot of people see these two as American tropes or archetypes. Now people are going to start associating Johnny Depp with justice, you know, the rich man who has been accused, and they're going to associate the young, attractive woman with treachery or deception. It also doesn't help her case that there's evidence that she cheated on him while they were married, but there's no evidence that he cheated on her. The danger is in people making the generalization that all men who get accused are innocent, or most men who get accused are innocent, because that's far from the truth. There are many managers, politicians, and people of authority who are men who get accused of abuse, but they actually have been abusing their power, sexually harassing women who are in lower positions than them, and then blackmailing them, trying to ruin their careers if they speak out against them. You know, former American president, current American president, nobody talks about that either, who get accused, who've gotten accused. Now, the problem is that women who actually get abused, who are actually innocent, will now lose their credibility because someone so famous, someone who has the spotlight, who's a celebrity, who's wealthy, who's attractive, was lying. He went ahead and made it harder for everybody else. It's tragic that his career kind of got destroyed, but on the flip side, at least he cleared his name and proved himself innocent, assuming that this is the case, right? Because now he has that kind of personal satisfaction. You know, it's for your own self to know that you've been cleared. Your name has been cleared. You weren't guilty, and now everybody realizes you weren't guilty. Now, I think the biggest tragedy in all of this is that now, when an innocent woman comes forth claiming that she's gotten abused, and she's actually been abused, she'll lose that credibility, and it will be harder for her to be believed, especially if that man is rich, famous, and influential. Until next time.